Look, I tell you what, Lego's fucking gay as shit anyway. You fucking
You can fuck off.
Yeah. Why?
Lego is put together by shoving a tiny little knob up a tiny little hole.
Why am I not doing this? I'm not
Lego's
texting here.
fucking gay as shit, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
if
protest
anyone
it. Lego weren't in the damn Bible. Hello there, welcome to You Know Better Than Us, a podcast that's named You Know Better Than Us because you do, we're all morons. My name is Sean, my username is Magmamale, and that's the channel that you're listening to this on. We have reformatted the podcast, and by reformatting I mean we've actually introduced a format in the goddamn first place. We'll not explain it now, you'll encounter it as the podcast goes on. But before we go any further, I think we should introduce you to a bunch of complete idiots. First up, we have a returning podcast man and my good friend, Dean.
The good friend you just called me. Hello.
I mean, we're that good of friends that I can be totally honest with you.
Nah. Maybe.
It's the damn truth. Next up we have, he's technically a returning guest. He's also a fill-in host for today. It is the Ginger Man who inspires the world with his infamous quote, "Kill yourself, go jump off the fucking bridge." It's Jack.
That is gonna follow me to the grave, isn't it?
It's gonna follow you until you do jump off the fucking bridge. And finally we have a guest, a good friend of mine, and a filthy Texan. We know him. We're not sure if we love him, but his name is Travis.
Hello.
All right.
Cherry.
It's good to have you. Good to have you all here. I should explain why we haven't done a podcast for a while. We attempted to do one. It was me, Dean, Jack, and Lewis. Jack was going to be our guest. It went very off the rails. It is too hot for YouTube. I know that's a lot, considering that we do not shy away from many topics. You know, we drop many a swear on here, which, by the way, if that offends you, look elsewhere for your podcast entertainment, because
Kill
we
yourself,
say
go jump off the fucking bridge.
exactly we say the word cunt here, and we're not too ashamed about it. But that episode was a tad too much. The lost episode will only ever be listened to by close friends, basically each other. But I think we should just ask, how's everyone doing today?
Too bad. Yourself?
I'm alright.
I'm just normal, like...
No, not too
If you-
interested.
If you look closely, you'll see that rust has started to form on a couple of people here.
I didn't know how to respond to that. I'm just like, eh.
You didn't know how to respond to
How do you respond to how are you?
How am I?
I'll respond with a joke, but I'm gonna try and keep that back a bit.
It should also be mentioned that I made my tea before recording this. And because we needed to get this recorded, and I also don't want my food to go cold, this is a very extra special Sean's homemade garlicky chicken breast edition of You Know Better Than Us. Which basically means we're going to have to rely on these useless fucks to speak sometimes, because my mouth is full of delicious chicken.
Wow. Well, I mean, good luck. You've hired the correct people now, haven't you?
I mean, he said it's chicken, but we all know.
Yeah, we all know what it is, Sean.
Lewis has gone missing. We all know where he is.
Lewis has gone missing. Yes, I've rubbed garlic powder on Lewis's dick. So I'll occasionally need to just, tantalize him with a few close touches. Anyhow, This podcast is formatted now, and we hopefully, by the time this is released, have little jingles for each segment. But if not, I'm going to improv sing all of the jingles so that we actually have them.
Oh no!
So the first segment is called Guesticles. And I'm now going to try and improvise a song for Guesticles.
No.
Oh,
please,
oh no! Brace yourselves. T minus however many seconds.
Putting-
Oh god.
I'm just thinking of a catchphrase of tickle my nuts is guesticle.
What?
Of course you are.
It's gentle conversation like a tickle of your scrotum. It's time for Guesticles. Boom. Hopefully me and Chris have sat down and managed to actually sort out some proper jingles, because that's pretty dire.
That's absolute garbage. I'm gonna tell you right now.
This is Guesticles. Whenever we have a guest on the show, they get a chance to bring their own topic of discussion, and we will prat about and talk about it. So, Travs,
Hello.
what have you brought to discuss today?
Now I have bought an article that the BBC wrote about posing the question: is esports sexist? Now, me being a massive esports nerd, I was fucking all over this.
Nerd.
Now, as I'm sure it's apparent, the esports scene is fucking growing. It's now actually starting to come into the public eye. Jesus Christ.
It writes itself.
But yeah, it's actually starting to be broadcast on like TBS in America, you know, being shown in like actual public places. Most teams are getting now sponsorship deals from big companies who don't just revolve around gaming. You know, you have Visa, Vodafone, even Audi jumping into it. But the BBC posed the question: is esports sexist? And some of their points are fucking garbage. So that's what I was gonna, you know, bring to the table, and we could all discuss why the points being posed are fucking garbage. So, I'm sure we're all aware that male and female leagues exist in pretty much every esport.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm eating chicken. Yes, they exist.
Yeah.
Feel free to jump in at any time, lads.
Yeah, come on. And one thing that they've complained about is that the female leagues, they just don't get like as much coverage or like as much what's the word, like prize money put into them. But that's because nobody is interested to watch. Like, it's one of those things that if you have the choice between watching a massive tournament with like that have male teams playing and a women's league, 9 out of 10 times people are going to choose the male league. So that's just a bit of an invalid point.
I'd like to challenge that a little bit.
Oh, God.
But I did just stick a massive bit of chicken in my mouth.
Oh, well
Oh,
done.
for God's sakes.
I mean,
So maybe Jack or Dean would like to contribute.
No, I actually had a thought about this.
Come on, man.
A rare thing, I had a thought.
Disgusting.
Now it's gone.
We had hope. Stop sucking on chicken and fucking respond.
Righty-ho, sunshine.
Oh my God.
So, I get that there is a difference between the amount of viewership between the big leagues and the women's leagues. There could be a case to be made that perhaps esports does not put all the resources to publicise the women's events, or as many as the men's events. Also, video games just in general are a bit of a boys' club anyway. It's like sport. Sport's always been just more of a bloke's thing. I mean, there's plenty of women interested in it, and it's a shame that the women's versions of the sport don't get as much coverage.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, like,
it's a battle that has to be fought, and the problem is perhaps not sometimes on the broadcaster. It's sometimes on the audience that's just not interested in it, and that can't be helped.
yeah. Like, I'm not. My issue with this isn't. Oh, women are trying to get into games. That's fucking disgusting. How dare they try to invade in our little boys' club? No, not at all. Like I know some like female people who do like play games such as Counter-Strike and Dota and whatnot. I know them.
It's perfectly
My
fine.
problem is
You can set up
yeah.
a console in the kitchen.
My
I mean,
Sean!
I mean,
Ugh.
what are the numbers? I mean,
Look. Um,
does it not come down to like just pure ability? I'm
Yeah.
not saying like who's better, like which gender, but in general, it's just that more men are
yeah,
better.
absolutely. That was like my next point is women have more choice in comparison to men. They can either go to a women's league or a qualifier for a male-dominated league. It's just a case of like, will they be good enough to pass? Like, if they qualify, sure, they might be the only female team in the tournament, but they will be there. It's not like they're saying, "Oh, you fairly qualified, but you've got tits. You're not playing."
Most of
that's-
the males there will have tits.
Fair point. Fair point.
It is
Yeah.
it is a symptom of society. Society thrusts gender onto people. You're sort of made to live up to the expectations of society, and that sucks. And there's plenty of ways to try and change it. But for people to say that immediately, there must be equality in sports and in esports, that would be the case if there wasn't also business behind it.
Hmm.
If it was just people watching it totally, there was no advertising in it at all. People were just watching it for the fun of it. Maybe it would be a little more intermixed, but it's for money. It's a genuine career path now, and most men, more men play video games than women, especially the competitive ones.
Yeah, in fact, like statistics for men to women ratio, literally less than 5% of the esports industry is made up of women. Like, I'm not saying, oh, we should go out and make it 50-50. No,
It's
That's-
not even like anything you can do. It's up to pure choice.
yeah, it's
No
up
one
to
wants
if you have the ability, like if you're a woman and you have the ability to make it into big leagues, there is nothing stopping you. Like there is no, oh, you're a woman, you're a woman, so we're gonna like handicap you in the qualifiers or something. No, it's if you have the ability, you will, go for the big leagues.
Yeah.
And it's. I was talking about. There's a bit of like a biological disadvantage, if I'm correct, or
I don't think that's been exactly true.
It's been proven in terms of the physical sports. Men are just
yeah.
they're
That's
built to be more muscular.
Yeah, it's an evolution though.
Mm.
In terms of video games, I don't think there's
Yeah.
there's anything like that. Not that I could say with certainty.
Maybe reaction time, but
Yeah, I mean, like reaction time or like fucking. But that's something like ability is a,
it'd be minuscule.
yeah, basically be negligible. One more thing that the person at BBC interviewed one of pretty much one of the most successful female esports athletes said is that it's like still, to quote, a boys' club. So as a woman, you're automatically judged for being different, and then something about receiving abuse for being a woman. Like that's I don't want to sound harsh, but that's to be expected. Especially with some communities which are so toxic.
It's an unfortunate symptom of
That
of the esports community. It's mostly comprised of men. It's mostly comprised of men who are antisocial shut-ins, who resent women for, whatever reason.
For not loving them, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole host of reasons, and thus, when you're behind a keyboard, they can abuse a woman just because she's a woman and because she's different. Of course, you're gonna be
Because we're
treated
anonymous.
differently.
Yeah. Like
Because you're a woman in a male-dominated sport. That's always going to be the case. Maybe that'll change over time. Probably not. But what does happen is that, I mean, there's it, I mean, and it comes from, not that we've really experienced it much on YouTube, but you've just got to accept that people will abuse the anonymity.
there is no community out there which doesn't have people that like hurl abuse. There is no community out there.
No, you're right.
And if it is, then it's a crap game. Like it's just not out there. And it's like the BBC are trying to portray it that it's only women who get this abuse. Like, no, I'm sure all of us here have been told to kill ourselves because we are bad.
Yeah.
But we don't complain.
Half an hour ago.
If anything, there's a unique beauty
No,
to the fact that
actually,
the
on the
abuse
subject of this, though,
the abuse transcends gender.
Yeah. So,
I was told the abuse I've received, someone couldn't believe I hadn't killed myself.
Did they then tell you to go kill yourself?
So,
jump off
To
the
go
fucking
jump off
bridge.
a fucking bridge.
well, as well, like you said, if we go back as well to like business thing, I'm going to assume, so off the top of my head, Travis, that the female earnings is a lot less than the male.
In
overall,
fact, yeah.
Because
I'm quoting the article here. The highest male earnings were presuming salary over years. The highest male has earned $2.6 million. The highest female earning is $156,000, which on paper seems like, oh well, there's a big pay gap, but I'm sure that men have been doing esports quite a lot longer than women. In fact, I think women's leagues in a game like Counter-Strike have only been, shown in the past 2 to 3 years. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, true. But
Where are the Apache helicopter leagues? It's a social construct, and I choose to
This is
identify as an Apache attack helicopter.
there is
Where
no,
my league?
there is no,
Where is my league in my millions of enemies?
Where are my open qualifiers?
Travis, I bet you any money the female tournaments aren't sponsored, like Sean said, as much.
Yeah. Like, the teams that they play on have sponsors, sure, but the sponsors are going to want to pay out more to the big teams.
The thing with esports is, though, you could just make mixed teams. It's not like a real sport where
You could.
it's like pure physicality and different body masses. It's literally a case of it's people behind the keyboard.
If you're good enough, you're good enough.
Yeah, you could make a mixed team. It's just that we don't see any female pros who have the ability to compete in the big leagues with males. And this whole pay gap thing that the BBC are presenting doesn't take into account tournament winnings, because I'm sure that gap would be a tad smaller. But it doesn't take into account tournament winnings, sponsorship deals, etc.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like the top, Paris E World Convention had a cash prize of 75 grand in the mixed competition, while the women's only competition had one of 15,000 euros. Sorry, dollars. On the
So-
side, euros.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's-
that doesn't boil down to women give them less
No.
money.
No.
I know. It boils down to the it just has less coverage. You're not gonna say, okay, well, there's this league that everyone's gonna be watching, and there's this league that only less people are gonna be watching. Let's pour most money into the one that less people are gonna be watching. That doesn't make sense.
You're very right.
And just to reinstate, my problem is not with like women should be equal. Like, yeah, I believe they are equal. Like right now, it's just ability-wise they're not. My problem is with how the BBC are presenting it, saying like most people in esports are just like all massive sexists and like, oh, it's a boys-only club and these women are intruding into our boys-only club. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing that always happens when it comes to video game communities. It's so easy to report on the vocal minority because the vocal minority say such horrendous fucking bullshit, and then we all get portrayed as as these horrible sexists, which isn't true. They are reporting on a genuine problem that there should be more women in esports, absolutely. And if you are a woman who's interested in a career in esports, then absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
But statistically, the amount of men and women who play games,
Oh,
the amount of athletes, professional esports athletes who would come from those numbers are reflected in the amount of numbers of people who are involved in esports. I'm sure the ratio will change over the years as gaming becomes less and less more and more diverse. More women start to experiment, playing games, people trying to raise children in a less sort of like
like sort of like gender stereotype-ish culture.
Yeah.
More sort of a like if we
things will change, but it's a matter of time, not a matter of make them equal right now. It's unfair. It seems unfair, but it's a lot more complicated than that. And I know it's a hard line to walk without sounding. I mean, we're all a bunch of straight white dudes.
Yeah.
So when it comes to women, they probably won't take our opinion that seriously. We're just like mansplaining or whatever it is. But
they're gonna see it as defending our corner. I'm trying to defend the people who work in esports are being accused of sexist because that's essentially what the BBC are doing. They're indirectly saying the males in esports are sexist, which they're not. It's a case of ability. Like, what the BBC don't understand is they've just gone through this article. They've interviewed one person, in this case, fucking one of the best female Counter-Strike players, and they've just sort of said, right, what kind of abuse do you get? What kind of earnings do you get? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they've sort of done. And they've gone, right, okay, this is enough to be controversial and interesting. Let's slap it on any research. It's
not. Unfortunately, it is not the job of the media to report the news. It is the job of the media to get clicks and sell copies.
Yeah.
So the BBC, there needs to be a basic, layer of truth. Otherwise, they'll get totally caught out. But they don't need to do as much work. That they get better. I mean, with the BBC, because they're a government organisation, more clicks for them means more funding for them, as opposed to a newspaper, the Guardian, the
Wall Street Journal.
Daily Mail, if we can call them a newspaper. They get paid through advertising revenue in their papers and on their websites. The media is always going to sensationalize stuff, and it's a shame how the BBC, who you'd think would be the most trustworthy source, have presented a very one-sided argument.
It's what they haven't realized, what they haven't asked is things like I think I've already said this, but things like qualifiers for big tournaments are open. Like, I could get you four, and I could get us four, and like someone else, and we could go to a qualifier, no problem. So that doesn't stop a team of 5 women going to a big league qualifier. It's just they don't have the ability. Well, at least, I'm not saying, all women don't have the ability. It's more sort of a case of the women in esports at the moment do not have the ability to compete with, like, big league male tournaments. And that's why there's...
gender, that's just pure ability.
Yeah. Well, that's me complaining about, I'm 5'4" and I'm not good at Counter-Strike. This is heightist or whatever this is. I don't know.
Heightist.
Heightist. I don't know. What's the word for like? I don't know.
I don't think there is heightism. But yes, no, it's an issue that will get resolved in time. But thank you for bringing that surprisingly like meaningful conversation to the You Know
Yeah.
Better Than Us podcast. I feel as though it's only right if I just quickly give a shout out to Dix.
Big up dicks.
Keep doing what you're doing, Dix. Nice work. We'll continue to make dick jokes. Don't worry. We need to switch over to another section, and you know what that means for us sat in the recording.
Time for a fantastic segue.
An improv song.
Brace
we
yourselves,
need-
lads.
We need to switch things up, but before we do that,
Kill me.
it's time for an improv song. Although this one isn't improv, I'd already thought of this one.
Jump off a fucking bridge.
As we take you to our next section, Video James. Video James, Video James, the bit where we talk about video games. Video James, Video James, it has nothing to do with James. Bum. Welcome to Video James, the section where we talk about video games. Nothing to do with James, but you know, it
rhymes.
was a slightly relevant pun. James isn't even in this episode of the podcast, which kind of makes it redundant. But shout out to James. So,
Hi, James.
we're going to talk about something relevant in the games media today. And I said we would switch things up. Dean, why did I give this very obvious hint?
Because the Nintendo Switch is out next week.
The Switch.
The Switch.
The Switch?
Oh,
The change. I get it, cause Switch.
The Cube.
God damn it.
God, I hate that show. I actually hate it. Like, I dislike both that show and Philip Schofield.
What's wrong with Scove? Apart from many things.
Anyway.
Anyways, let's get back on topic.
We're calling out Philip Schofield.
New segment, call out a celebrity.
Right, Dean,
Anyway.
talk about the Switch.
So the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's new consoles, released 3rd of March. Thoughts, people?
It's gonna be a shit release.
I won't be purchasing one. I'm skint.
Fake and gay.
Right.
Jesus had his heart torn out.
Well, no, because I'm not buying one either yet.
No, it looks so good, and some of the games that are coming out are gonna be so good.
It looks
But they're
weird
not
because
coming out at release.
Yeah.
it looks weird to me because like, where's like the main console that you have? Is that the TV thing?
It's the screen. It's the screen within.
No, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with that. I need like an actual like console that sits there. Like that's what I look for in a console. In that case, it's just like a fucking iPad built by Nintendo.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
But
But
at the same time, the whole point, the whole like gimmick with the Switch is for it to be portable and a home console. It's a hybrid.
It's the power of a console with the portability of a handheld. It's the new Nintendo Switch. You Know Better Than Us podcast. It's sponsored by the Nintendo Switch. It's not.
Hi, Billy Mays here.
Hi,
What's
Billy
gonna be-
Mays here for the Nintendo Switch.
I was trying to bait out that Billy Mays impression.
Oh god.
It's an
Anyway.
iPad. It's a bunch of weird controllers. You can take it on the roof. You can take it while you jump off a bridge. You can play it anywhere. Call now.
No.
Full of games
The best bit
Not
is
even a
later
handful.
on.
the best bit is in America. Oh, wait, continue.
Jack.
Jack.
Why? Why are they're pushing all these big games? The new Splatoon, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe thing, Mario Odyssey. Oh yeah, you know all these great games that aren't at release.
Well,
That's dumb.
the
What
only
are we
thing,
gonna?
Yeah, we'll go Zelda, but one game.
yeah, exactly, which is also
One
going to be on
game
the Wii U.
is not worth that amount of money.
Well, the games that have been announced.
How much is the Nintendo Switch anyway?
It is 280 quid by itself without the game. That is the main issue.
No, that's extortionate.
The games that have been announced are the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild,
One
Which?
to Switch.
1-2 Switch, Bomberman R, I believe.
Super Bomberman R.
Super Bomberman R. My
Oh,
bad.
sorry.
Dance.
Just Dance. Skylanders, I believe, is also being added to this.
Yeah, the Skylanders and Imaginators, I think.
Yeah.
Fucking
I Am Setsuna, which I have no idea about.
IAMS. The fucking IAMS cat is now getting its own Switch game. What?
World
Did
of
I-
Goo isn't that something that the Wii had?
World
Yeah.
of Goo is something that's been on a while, and that may be US only. So.
Why would you pay this much for a console
Like
now?
Yeah.
Why not wait for all the better games to come out?
Well, the thing is like most, like I said, Jack, Sean, you know me. I am a massive Zelda fan, but I looked at it like this: is it 300 quid better? That's the thing. I have a Wii U. Why would I?
Even if you don't get it for the Wii U, you can just wait 3 months when all the newer games come out.
I mean, I think my main issue with it actually as well is the memory thing again. I mean, I get it's going to be on cartridges, but still, 32 gig for a modern day console is quite small.
That's small.
I get that it's all going to be on cartridge, so not much is going to be that on it. But isn't there? I'm pretty sure that Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 is getting made with a single game. It can be downloaded onto the Switch, but if you actually download it onto the Switch, it's 32 gig. So
Like,
I mean,
That's
exactly.
that's just too small. Like take like an iPhone with 32 gigs. Most people complaining about having to delete photos and videos. We have to do that on the phone. Imagine on a fucking console.
Well, that's the advantage of a cartridge, isn't it?
Aye.
Sean, you haven't said much.
Well, I want to get back onto the argument. Well, it's not really an argument that any of you've actually made. You've all brought up that there's going to be a lackluster set of launch titles, but a trap that a lot of people are falling into is saying that the Nintendo Switch will fail because the launch titles.
Oh, it won't
Crap.
fail because of that.
It
No.
won't fail, it just won't kick off.
Straight away.
Nintendo,
A few months.
as always, are not banking on a successful launch. They did it with the Wii U and it didn't work quite as well, but it did help. They're waiting to release their big name titles, and that's when they'll get their sales. The initial cost of the Wii U, it will get them, the die-hard Nintendo fans and the Zelda fans, and just fans of gaming with a lot of money to spare in general, will get one at launch, and that's great. As more interesting games come out, more people will buy it. They'll probably reduce the price over time because sales will be poor, but they've probably anticipated that because they've been burned before with the Wii U. In terms of games, an interesting statistic is that the Wii U launched with more games and did badly. However, do you know how many games the Nintendo 64, the iconic 3D console, launched with?
I want to guess. Hold on.
I want to say just one.
Three.
Jackson with just one. Travis is in with 3. Dean?
That's what
I know. Mario 64 came out with it, but I would assume there was only 4, because I'm pretty sure there was a lot held back. Actually, there was a lot held back for it, but still.
It
There
came.
wasn't- there
It
wasn't much.
released with 3 games.
Wait, what did I say? I'm a genius.
You Googled
Three
I
games.
didn't Google this.
He didn't have time to Google it.
No, you would have heard my keyboard. How many Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, 3
Nintendo
games.
64 games.
And the Nintendo 64 sold rather well, as I'm sure we're all well aware.
Yeah.
It is, the price point is bad. The
that.
the memory. the memory is abysmal, and I would hope and pray
That we
that
get like
that
something.
that there will be ways to expand the memory through.
Like the DS, there's an SD card slot kind of.
Okay, good. Then you should be
There's
able
a
to
way.
buy a nice beefy SD card.
My main issue with it as well is that why does it not come with anything? I mean, it comes with fair enough, it comes with the controllers, but I mean, what made like say the Wii successful came with sports. Right?
The Wii,
See, that's where I feel
everybody like
should be just a Wii Sports thing.
the thing with the Wii was that like it was like aimed at a family, wasn't it? If I'm
Well,
not
that's
mistaken.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
what the Switch is also aimed at as well, isn't it? Or is
No,
that-
it isn't.
It's aimed at everybody.
No, it's
No,
one
it-
console. Like the thing with the Wii is that it's like one console that you have 4 remotes to, and you can all play games on like your big TV. But like with the Switch, you just get like
The Switch has Skyrim, FIFA, Steep, NBA. They're not family orientated games.
But the Wii had like sports. We play. Fucking what else did they have it released? I'm trying to think.
They had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that they've learned with the Switch is the Wii was a perfect storm of advertising and the actual console and what was coming out for it. The Wii was the ideal family console. It is still played to this day. You know, a lot of families have one in their home when they have no other video game console. It's sold marvelously. The Wii U tried to get back, you know, your more traditional gamer, while also trying to, you know, keep families involved, and that was a bad move. It didn't work. The Switch, if you've looked at the marketing for the Switch, you'll notice it's not really family oriented at all. Nintendo's trying to go back to the gamer market. That could burn them in the long run because Sony and Microsoft have that market. But if Nintendo stuck with family, they wouldn't be true to their own you know ethos rather of, you know, trying to be the innovators of gaming. They've got to try to appeal to everyone, and that's going to hurt them. They seem to be aiming at
That's honestly, I'd say
they're
that
aiming at they're aiming at millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see in all the advertising, it's like people who are having parties and going on trains and, you know, basically people about our age is who they're aiming for in their marketing, which is fine, but we don't have any money.
Sure.
That's very true. Most of us
And-
are students.
And I honestly would much rather whack out my DS rather than whack out a Nintendo Switch on the train, because like something like the DS is just much more practical than the Switch. Like the Switch is like pretty big, am I right? Or
Yeah,
am I
it's
just
sick.
Also, the battery life of it when it's portable is not fantastic as you'd expect, but it's still a
You're only looking at like somewhere between 2 and 6 hours, isn't
yeah.
it?
that's
That's not. You're not going to play it online if you're moving around. So I mean, I get that. It's not going to drain it with that sense. But if you're running like a larger game,
Look,
like
take
realistically,
Zelda.
Breath of the Wild, it's going to last you 2 hours at best.
I'd much rather like whack out my DS and start playing like Pokemon or Smash or something, because like what they did with the DS, and one thing like I didn't like it was with the DS like Lite, it was just simple. You would turn it on and you could either do like, what was it, pick the chat, play a game, or like a Game Boy game. And then they started adding like loads of features to it. Like they added like a camera and a voice recorder. Like who uses it? We have phones that do all that. So like It's
Well,
just
It's to try to appeal to more markets.
yeah, it's an attempt to try and appear more like a phone that a lot of people had started doing their gaming on. Nintendo, I think, during this next sort of phase of the gaming market, the DS, the 3DS, and all of its counterparts, they're not stopping their interest in that because that's a big seller. It's smashing the Vita
They
in
have
terms
the
of
handheld
sales.
market.
Yeah,
Like what the Switch is kind of trying to do. I think the Switch honestly is guilty of trying to do too much. Yeah.
it is a little bit.
it's trying to be.
The Switch is the version that's trying to appeal to gamers. They're gonna focus the DS more on kids and, sort of the family market, but mostly kids. They're trying to get back in with your more hardcore gamer with the Switch. I'm not entirely convinced it'll work.
Let's
Like-
take four of the titles for example, though, for the Switch. Like it could be argued that they're going for, like you said, they're still trying to appeal to family rather than appeal to gamers. The console itself may not. The games that have released at launch definitely are.
I mean, if they're trying to appeal to family, but their parental controls video just got turned into a meme.
It was
Like-
pretty good though.
It was a good
Bowser
one.
Jr. got
Oh,
owned.
Oh, but it's not doing a good job because if your video that's trying to like show that the Nintendo Switch appeals to family, if that gets turned into a meme, you're not doing something right in marketing. I mean, arguably you could be because everyone's like, let me find the original video.
Everyone sees it.
Yeah, but
Let's be honest, if you are a meme, it's probably some of the best advertisement out there now.
no, it's actually true. But no, when your video promoting that your console is family friendly is turned into a joke, then you just sort of know it's not really gonna go down well as a family console.
I think what Nintendo have done is Nintendo's biggest gift is also their biggest curse right now. Nintendo strives to be gaming's innovator, and they always have been. Even with like the last console generation, they influenced, two consoles that were threatening to outsell them in the PS3 and the Xbox 360. They made them create their own motion-based gaming because the Wii was selling like fucking hotcakes. Nintendo pioneered the D-pad and, actually good 3D gaming. Everything right back to the idea of a home console in the first place. Nintendo had you covered. They are continuing to try, whereas, the Xbox One and the PS4 sell well because it's more of the same. Nintendo were never going to make a Wii 2 or a Wii U 2 because they always want to innovate.
Yeah,
And that's great for the industry, but it's not as good for them financially.
I think it looks like that the Switch is a bit like the Wii and the DS combined.
Yeah.
And those are two consoles that you shouldn't mess with. Like those are the two consoles that those are like right now the two like most popular consoles made by Nintendo. I know the DS is like pretty popular, but you shouldn't try and put them together to try and make one big super product, because chances are if you put like an X and like a PS3 and a 360 together, it's not gonna work.
We live in an era of convenience. Convenience is king. Your phone is trying to be all of your devices. Most people, they do gaming on their phone, they watch TV on their phone, they listen to music on their phone, they do their phone things on their phone.
On their phone.
Some people, when they put down their phone, some people don't even use, TV anymore to watch TV. They'll stick on their console and put on Netflix, consoles are trying to do everything. Nintendo has taken it one step further. It's like, see how there's a distinct separation between handheld consoles and home consoles, but handhelds have always been limited graphically. What if we try and do a bit of everything? It could work. It will work a little bit, but I don't think Nintendo will ever have the success of the Wii again.
No.
Not for a long time.
Nintendo, honestly, like in this age, probably won't have as much success as the Wii. But because they don't like, but to be honest, like you said, Nintendo had every market covered back in the day.
It depends who makes full dive virtual reality first, really.
If anyone's going to do that,
PlayStation,
Google.
Yeah, Google.
Oh, Google will jump on that.
I meant the console, like its first. I think
The console interpretation. I think Google. Anyway. I mean, Google have launched their own phone and it's been successful. So
You think Google are gonna make a console, like a virtual reality console?
well, kind
don't
of.
need
If it's full dive virtual reality, it would be like a system to to facilitate you while you're in virtual reality.
I think if we're going on based on like the three console giants here, I think Xbox might have a crack at it.
Xbox haven't shown interest in virtual reality yet, have they?
they've partnered with Oculus, but Oculus are in a lot of bother at the minute, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Oculus aren't doing
Oculus,
fantastic.
Oculus have apparently stolen tech or something like that, isn't it?
If it was one of the pre-established, the big three of gaming, Sony already have virtual reality. You'd expect them to be making strides. Although Nintendo, Reggie
Have the Virtual
Fils-Aimé
Boy.
of Nintendo of America, they've joked about it, but I reckon, I mean, they are of course. I mean, everyone's trying to work with virtual reality technology now. Nintendo might well make a Virtual Boy 2, and it could be incredible.
They might do. But the thing is though, is virtual reality though just one of these phases? I mean,
Like 3D TV.
yeah, like
It's not a
3D
phase
had,
moment. Who I am.
But no, that's the thing. 3D had a big phase years back, and then it came back again. Is virtual reality going to do that, or is it going to stay?
There is less to be done with 3D than with virtual reality. Virtual reality
right.
can change how you play games entirely. 3D TVs and 3DS. I mean, no one used the 3D on the fucking 3DS.
No.
You used it once to see if it worked. Then it did.
Yeah.
Can't even see.
It only enhances the experience visually, and that's not quite enough. Virtual reality, the tech needs to be improved massively. Like right now, it's very, very clunky the way you interact with the virtual world. They need an authentic full dive virtual reality experience.
Jack,
Whoever gets
Don't mention the sword art. Don't mention the sword art.
whoever gets there
I wasn't gonna mention
first
Sword Art.
wins.
I was going to mention
Oh
Sword.
yeah.
Well, they've kind of developed that already, because... Oh, Sean, you wouldn't... Wait, Jack will know. When we went down to that gaming convention thing, we went in the sphere, wasn't it?
Yeah, the whole sphere thing where you just walk around.
Yeah, it was kind of like you were in a frame, but I mean, it took a lot of manpower to move it,
Where
it was
the
like a full dive.
fuck are you going to put that in your living room and play games?
I mean, you came off it dizzy. Well, you were in a hamster ball, rolling around trying to collect phones and stuff, and it was a bit disorientating, to be fair.
It sounds riveting.
Anyway,
So yeah, the Nintendo Switch. Just
We'll just have to
I
see
suppose
how it goes.
quick roundup thoughts for the highlight reel.
They just want to switch things up.
I want one, but I'll wait.
I think it's trying to be like the Wii and the 3DS together. And I'd prefer a 3DS over a Switch.
Fake and gay.
What?
Do you not remember like the thing where it's like everybody used to comment like on pranks, fake and gay?
I
It
never
was,
watched
it was
Pranks.
always gay. It was never just fake. It had to be and gay.
Also, oh, I have to be gay as well.
Yeah, like
Things that are fake are fine. It's when it becomes fake and gay.
like on like prank channels. I think it was like Pyrocynical or someone who started this. It was just like, oh yeah, this just comment. This one guy, oh, he commented fake and gay.
It's a pretty decent pyrocynical, to be fair.
I
Right,
miss the old Pyro.
we got to move on to another segment now, which means that for our co-hosts, we get to hear me improvising a song.
Can I literally like gouge my ears out?
You can try. I mean, your ears are already out.
I'm about. Is Van Gogh that cut off his ear? I'm about to go do that.
He was ginger, so following his footsteps. All right, the talky bit. Let's think of a song. Blah blah blah. It's the talky bit. Blah blah blah. We're gonna chat shit. Blah blah blah. What's the topic today? Blah blah blah. Is fake and gay.
It had redeeming qualities, but
I like that
now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the talky bit. I apologise for Travis cackling there. Maybe I'll edit that out, but it's quite
Yeah,
funny.
please do.
For our first topic of discussion in the talk, it should be mentioned. Normally when we have a guest on, the talky bit doesn't happen, and the main topic of discussion is decided by the guest, as was decided in guesticles earlier on. But because we don't have any canon fodder for the segment that would normally be here, we're going to have to replace it with another segment. Normally we'd have a segment called We Know Better Than You, which I won't come up with a song for because fuck that noise. We Know Better Than You is an audience submitted questions section where we answer your questions about anything and everything. However, we're going to talk shit today, so it's the talky bit. First topic of discussion, there may only be one, is about the roly-poly goalie. Jack, fill us in.
This fucking hero. Essentially god of semi-professional football. You need a photo of him on screen where people are really under.
It's a podcast.
We'll get him in there. Don't worry.
Just flash up in some way. The size of this man.
A beast.
He doesn't look like he plays football.
Looks like he is a football.
He looks like he eats pies.
He does eat pies. Pie got him in trouble though, didn't it?
What the hell happened there?
Wayne
My lad
Shaw.
living shit.
Wayne Shaw is 127.
Wayne Shaw, the roly-poly goalie of Sutton United, got caught in a match spot-fixing scandal. And I know what you're thinking. Oh God, it's the football chat. But this is important. The roly-poly goalie is an icon at Sutton United. He's their reserve keeper. He's also a groundskeeper on the side.
Incredibly fast.
He's the goalkeeping coach. He makes up a lot of the pie sales, etc., etc. He's become an icon during Sutton United's impressive FA Cup run, to the point where Sunbet, which is the betting branch of British news shit rag The Sun.
And there are other betting sites available.
Yeah, and there are other newspapers available, and I highly recommend you read them over the fucking Sun. They put odds on that Wayne Shaw would be caught eating a pie on camera at 8-1. Wayne Shaw caught onto this bet and thought that for a bit of banter and to win a few punters some money, he'd eat the pie. He hadn't had anything all day anyway. He was hungry. He had a pie, hoping it would get picked up on camera. He has been essentially forced to resign from his position at the club and in football for spot fixing, which is, intentionally making an event happen so that people win money on a bet. Fucking bullshit.
The question is, why would he care? Because he's now getting there's something. Okay, it is from the shit rag, but he's gonna get a new career straight away. Tasting pies.
Pie sale.
Oh yeah, it should be mentioned Morrison's immediately offered him a position as a professional pie taster.
Yeah, that happened.
Some people say that Shaw got, pun unintended here, bigger than the club.
Oh god.
By caving into what fans wanted, making the day about himself when it should have been about the team. But if you saw that man, he was on Good Morning
Britain.
Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan. And when he was on that sofa talking to them, he made it all about the lads at Sutton United. He's like, this is all well and good, but I wouldn't be here without the lads. All credit to them. They've played exceptionally well. He's a humble guy.
He's a man for the team. That's why
he's just a jolly giant.
And so for people who accuse him of making the day about himself, eating a pie on camera will boost his fan base, but any publicity for him was publicity for the club, and now he's had to have that ruined because,
FA, the most corrupt thing to man, is investigating, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't FIFA get involved with this?
Yeah.
FIFA can't say shit about fucking corruption. FIFA can fuck themselves.
It's disgusting. A man has seen that, Sunbet, a gambling website, was profiteering on a fat joke about him. And he's decided, to laugh along with it and eat the pie. I mean, that's essentially what's happened here. The Sun has gotten maximum value out of this. Of course they've had to pay out a lot for the bet, but I imagine a lot of people thinking it was funny would have, made the bet, and it's probably, it's made them a fair amount of money for the amount of money that they had to pay out.
Exactly.
They've made money off of a fat joke, which is pretty harsh. They have then, in their shit rag of a newspaper, they've fabricated a story. Well, not fabricated, but they've managed to create themselves a story about the roly-poly goalie and his fall from grace eating a pie because of betting odds that they put on in the first place. They've got a 2-for-1. It's scummy as hell.
Yeah. I just don't understand it, really. Like, there's so many bigger problems, definitely in sport at the minute. And
they refuse to report on a guy eating a pie for a bit of banter.
What
is it a non-league side? Not even a big team. Sutton were just happy to be in the FA Cup. They got to versus Arsenal and some of the Premier League big boys.
Can we just acknowledge the fact that the FA and FIFA got more annoyed at a guy eating and cared more about that than getting defibrillators by the side of a pitch?
Nice.
It's all a bit messed.
They don't have priorities when they can. You know, when one guy, you know, has a bit of a joke and a bit of a laugh, can't be allowing him to get away with that. He needs to resign. He needs to never play football again. When it requires them spending money to, you know, properly kit out football clubs with the correct equipment to keep their players from fucking dying.
No, we can't have that. What?
Can't have that because it's spending money.
What's this? Are you?
They were probably hoping that they could have fined Wayne Shaw by resigning from the club. He's probably saved Sutton a hell of a lot of money and stopped the FA from, you know, profiteering off of.
Oh, the FA will try and find a way.
It's horrible. Also, there's a lot to be said because players genuinely get found out all the time for cheating in games. Cough Joey Barton. To fix matches. And while on the there's as you say there's far worse things going on without making this poor fat man leave, you know, a club that he cared for deeply.
If I'm on the bench at 45 and I'm that big keeper, and I've had nothing to eat all day, I'm going to stuff my face with a pie. That's. I know that.
Mate, I'll go out. I'll turn up late with a pizza.
Like
I'll-
the
I'll-
man ate a pie.
Actually,
A pie
here's the most controversial aspect of this story.
wasn't a pie.
Wayne Shaw, the roly-poly goalie, on camera, ate a pasty.
No,
No way.
no,
How
no.
could he?
Find this man. I want him publicly executed immediately.
It wasn't a pie, it was a pasty. So Sunbet have paid out on a result.
That's
He didn't influence it.
like I was gonna say. I was looking at
actually-
the.
By knowing about it, there was no way he couldn't. When he knew that bet was happening, there was no way he couldn't fix the result. If he didn't eat the pie,
Yeah, exactly.
he would have stopped people. You know, he would have stopped some people earning money and others getting money. If he did eat the pie, it's the same thing. As soon as he knew, his actions were. And then that would go for, you know, any betting in the future. It's like, you know, here's the odds on a match being, you know, 2-1. A player here, you know, catches wind of this. They're 2-0 up. They decide to let a goal in so that their mates can earn a few quid. That's entirely possible. And you'd never find out about it because it's just part of the game if someone makes a mistake. Unless it was abundantly obvious. It's
Yeah.
it's dodgy as hell. And Wayne Shaw, you're welcome on the podcast anytime for further discussion. We'll provide the pies, don't you worry.
Pasties. Find the pasties.
Right, we'll provide whatever he
We're
wants.
from Newcastle.
Yeah, we every like 2 seconds there's a Greg, so you could.
I actually went up to Newcastle. I think I counted about 5 or 6 Gregs on my travels there.
You are always within walking distance of a.
It's like that thing where like you're always like a certain amount of meters within rats, but except in like Newcastle it's just Greg.
Yeah. Greg's and rats.
Wait,
Greg's and obese rats.
You could relate that many Gregs.
Roly-poly rats.
this is a message specifically for Wayne Shaw. If you do watch this, come to
Listen.
Newcastle, and we will do a tour of every Greg's in Newcastle and vlog the thing with you.
The Greg's crawl.
The
We
Gregs.
can go on a Greg's crawl together.
We'll die. We'll all
Greg's
die.
crawl.
I know Lewis isn't here. I can speak for me and him that we do it.
You couldn't even walk half an hour.
But he could
half
for
an hour.
food.
That half an hour is 3 hours.
He could. fucking walk out of the club for food. Free.
Now,
We'll do it every break.
in other footballing news, something I'd like to touch on briefly, and I know Jack wanted to touch on this briefly. Another man who has been forced out of a job, but more in terms of being sacked. Premier League winning manager Claudio Ranieri was let go of by Leicester for basically being in the position that Leicester would have been in last season if they had been regular old Leicester City. I don't want to spend too long on this, but I know Jack and Dina would have some thoughts. I hope to God that fart didn't pick up on. Did anyone hear a fart? Oh, thank God. You can fart freely.
50,000 to 1 for Leicester to win last
If-
season.
5,000 to 1, not 50,000.
It's a joke.
5,000 to
In this
1.
day and age with football, that they don't keep with managers anymore. I mean,
He's reported to have been in tears coming off the plane back from their Champions League game after he found out.
no, he's
He's actually
actually-
devastated. He loves the club. Some
He-
managers
his-
are there purely
His
for the
statement, his statement, leaving after leaving the club, he's spoken out.
dream
The
died.
statement, yeah, the opening line of his statement. Yesterday, my dream died. You cunts, Leicester.
The man's a fucking hero.
We're having statues, not sackings.
If
Yeah.
I was in his position, my opening statement would be, "Fuck off."
I can imagine that written down. Moves towards microphone. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Ranieri out, drops the mic.
Yeah.
Claudio Ranieri, you're a beautiful man and you're welcome on the podcast anytime.
Dilly ding dilly.
We'll even go to the pizza for you. We'll get pizza.
Yeah, we'll go out for a pizza with you. We'll record the podcast while having a pizza.
Gotta keep a clean sheet first, lads.
Yes. But it's okay. We have Champions League. Dilly ding, dilly dong.
What if you have Wayne Shaw and
Wayne Shaw and Claudio Ranieri, I
That'd
would
be
absolutely.
a fucking great podcast.
like I know nothing about football, but I'd turn up. This is
Oh,
Poor man. Poor man.
like I don't. Why? Like, why did they sack him? Oh my God.
Because-
Leicester are 1 point above the relegation zone.
He's literally being punished because of last season's success.
Also, there's
Great.
speculation that he's lost the dressing room, which I don't think we should blame on him. Losing the dressing room is not on him. It's the people like Riyad Mahrez in that dressing
They got
room.
big-headed. They had the big money offers.
They didn't go for them because Ranieri convinced them not to. But I bet they all resent him for that. It was never
Okay.
going to be.
They didn't step up this season.
I mean, you can accuse Ranieri of being a little bit tactically naive, but I mean, his tactics won him a Premier League title last season. Forgive the man for thinking that he can win.
Yeah.
Claudio Ranieri, we love you. You're a beautiful man. Dilly ding, dilly dong. You're welcome on any time.
Come back to the Premier League soon, mate.
GLHF.
Another brief segment that Travis found in doing research for today's podcast. Apparently, the Lego Batman movie is homosexual propaganda.
Thoughts?
How?
If I'd like to quote.
Is there dicks flying around the screen or something? I don't know.
Unless
Now-
Batman is showing Robin his Batcave.
Oh,
There's plenty of things on the internet if you do want to look into that.
I'd like to quote the Independent article on this.
Oh, here we go.
Now, the same critics that called out the Lego movie, whatever the fuck they called it out for, they're calling out the Lego Batman film for being pro-gay propaganda. Now, some conspiracy theorists believe the filmmakers were attempting to subliminally brainwash us. Apparently, it was, quote, chock full of pro-gay propaganda. Think the sexual innuendo of the Flint minus the real humor. It's something about gender, ideology, blah, blah. Essentially, there was an ongoing joke that, There's an ongoing joke in the film that Robin doesn't know that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person, and that he just has two dads.
You can't go normalizing a child having two fathers in my fucking Lego Batman movie. Get that shit out of my fucking Lego Batman. I just want to see a fucking toy kick the shit out of another toy.
Another toy.
I don't want to see anybody bumming each other. Look,
It's a kids' film. Yeah, they're meant to try and make it mysterious.
If anything, it's good because then it shows, oh, gay isn't bad.
look, I tell you what. Lego's fucking gay as shit anyway. You
can fuck off.
Lego is put together by shoving a tiny little knob up a tiny little hole.
Why am I not doing this? I'm not
Lego's
taxing
fucking
you.
gay as shit, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
protest it. Lego weren't in the damn Bible.
Right, I got this.
Howdy, y'all.
Hey there, son. You want to go to them there new cinemas in town? Go on then. What film do you want to see? Lego Batman. Well, are you a little bit fucking gay? You want to go see a gay porno? What, you want to see two Lego figures each other? Well, that's fucking gay, aren't you, son? What, you think Lego's cool? You think Lego's fucking cool? I actually read an article, and it said that, they've got two dads in there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, son, but we ain't got two dads in the Bible. Now, we ain't got two dads in our little caravan park now, do we? Thank you.
I don't know what.
I don't either.
That sounded a little bit Australian in part.
Alright, son, you want to get out to the movies? What do you want to go see? What are you going to go see, kiddo? Fucking Lego Batman.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman's fucking gay as shit, son. You fucking gay wanker. We're gonna go watch a proper film like fucking Brokeback Mountain. There's a classic film about a great friendship between two friends, but fucking a Lego minifigure thinking that he's got two dads. It's fucking gay. I don't want my son being corrupted by this. Now your dad's gonna go off for a quick meeting with his very special friend John, and we don't get up to anything gay. Even though, I mean, we just... You've commented on the white stain on the side of my face before. We milk cows together. You're right there, John. Hello there. I was about to have the two dad characters meet up and be gay with each other. We're not. This is if someone wants to write this fucking porno, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah.
People are offended by absolutely nothing.
I'd like to point out this is being brought up by conspiracy theorists. Like that's the key. That's the key here.
The government's run by lizards, and also Lego Batman is gay.
Basically. What were you gonna say, Jack?
It's not like I'm gonna be, oh, I like Lego, I like Batman, I'll go walk out, suddenly fuck every cock I see.
Like, it's just wrong with it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Everyone's like
quite good.
kicking up a fuss like, there's a little gay joke in there. Yeah. Like, no, it's
not even a
it's
You don't want that to eyelid. It's fucking. Disney movies.
I think another thing is some people are so offended by the normalizing of being gay, which is absolutely fine. It should be normalized. It should be something that children are desensitized to from a young age. Because we still see being gay as this massively different thing, which it shouldn't be considered as.
You shouldn't actually need to come out and say you're gay. You should just be like, oh hey, this is my partner of the same gender, and no one should give a shit. It should just be the same way as like, oh, this is my partner of a different gender.
but it's very unlikely will happen because like people who believe being gay isn't right now, they're gonna pass that on to generation, and that generation is gonna pass on. It's just not gonna go away.
It will.
It'll fade out.
Slowly will. We will be old ass men by the time that any noticeable change in terms of that comes about. But it is happening. People are more tolerant. You know, I mean, you know, the dominant worldview, you know, just over 100 years ago was that black people were all second-class citizens who should be kept as slaves. And we seem to have done pretty well to get rid of most of that.
True.
Anyway, this has gotten far too serious.
But you've done well.
Yeah.
Trump's just been elected.
This is getting way too serious for a Lego film.
Yeah, just a bit.
Like it's a Lego film with an ongoing joke that Robin doesn't know that like they're the same person.
Hang on, what? Who's not the same person? Are you telling me Bruce Wayne's Batman?
Yeah, dude. Just like Alfred's Mr. Freeze. I don't know.
Is it bad that when you said Mr. Freeze, I didn't think of the Batman villain Mr. Freeze? I thought of the guy from The Incredibles. Where is my super suit?
Where is my super suit?
Frozone's a G. I love Frozone.
Big up Frozone.
Shout out to Frozone. You're welcome on the podcast anytime. Right, let's have one more improv song where we find out what we learned today. That's our final segment.
Can we mute his mic? Can we just mute him for the benefit of everybody in the world right now?
Sean and unsubscribe.
Please unsubscribe from Sean Improv.
What have we learned today? We learned that everything is fucking gay. I sound like the guy from Nickelback.
Yes, you do.
Actually, I don't. I take that back. Did I just run back with back? You bet your fucking nutsack. It's time to find out what we learned. And if anybody has turned gay by watching every second of Lego Batman, I'm not really a massive fan. It's hard to say it, time to say it. What have we learned today?
Goodbye.
Welcome to this segment known only as What Have We Learned Today, where everybody just lists off what we've learned in today's podcast. Let's start with D. What have you learned today, D?
Well, there is a slight bias to esports. Obvious. The Switch is going to be garbage on launch, but overall, hopefully. And the Lego Batman movie continue gay.
Jack, what have you learned today?
I've learned that fucking Leicester are a bunch of fucking idiots. Wayne Shaw's my fucking hero. And that if I watch the Lego Batman movie, I'm gonna want to Lego and stick up my bum.
Travis, what have you learned today?
I've learned that a fat man can be fired for eating a pie. I've learned that every single person in esports is sexist if they don't have a vagina. And I've also learned that watching a Lego film will turn you gay. Fake. And gay.
Well, if you want to know what I've learned, it's that watching an esports tournament where they are playing the Lego Batman game,
I can see
you will watch a person get sacked as they play the pie eating level. But they'll have to stop the broadcast halfway through because it's starting to turn people gay. That, of course, is Lego Batman for the Nintendo Switch. I think I covered everything we talked there.
Yeah.
I also learned that my improv song skills are unparalleled.
because nobody's.
I would rather have Bieber. I would rather have Bieber.
I'd rather have a bunch of untrained fucking monkeys.
Same thing, isn't it?
Well, there you have it. This has been the You Know Better Than Us podcast. I have been Mr. Sean Magmamale Barrett.
I've been Dean.
I've been Callum, or Travis, hi.
I've been Jack, and I have ear cancer from Sean's.
But of course, that's all our opinion. Don't take it from us because you know better than us. Hey.
My laptop tried to go to sleep as you finished that, and the screen dimmed as if it was ending.
To be fair, I'm surprised that laptop didn't go to sleep fucking sooner.
I think I